All right, you guys. So I'm going to show you guys how to program your robot in 10 minutes or less. So hopefully you guys can hang on for that long. So I'm going to go ahead up here and I'm going to say File. Oh, sorry, real quick. You're going to be using the Mindstorms app, and that's going to be found under the menu, the Start menu on your computer. If it isn't, then you can actually install it. So you guys, not on your Chromebooks, but you guys can install it on your profiles. So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to go to New Project. I'm going to select Word Blocks and click Create. Now we have to unlock a couple of things. So if you go down here to the lower left-hand corner, Show Block Extensions, we're going to turn on More Movement, and we are going to turn on Xbox One Controller. Now, part of me wants to go play with this machine learning thing, but, okay. I won't for now. I will focus and get through this and show you guys how to program your robots. Now, the first thing we want to do is tell the robot about itself, and so we're going to set the drive motors. Now, whatever motors you use, I tend to use A and E because that's what works for me, and that's what I, kind of know enough to know to remember. But, you should use what works for you. And then we are going to set how far the robot goes in one rotation. So if you're using the big wheels, then that number is 27.318. So big wheels equals 27.318. Small wheels equals 17.5. Okay? All right. Next up, I'm going to give the robot a default movement speed, and I'll just go ahead and set that to 50%. This actually doesn't really matter so much. As long as the robot knows where the drive motors are, you should be fine. Okay, now, everything that happens after this, I want to happen forever. So I'm going to go ahead and grab a forever loop, and then I'm going to tell the robot how to move, and I'm going to have it move based on the position of the Xbox One left joystick. So I'm going to go down here to More Movement, and I'm going to get a start moving at 50% speed, okay? So this is going to change the speed of the motors based on the position of the joystick. So right now it's set to 50-50. Then I'm going to go to Xbox One, and I'm going to say no, I'm not. I'm going to go to Operators, sorry. Go to Operators, and I'm going to get a plus and a minus because I have to have some way of mixing together the X and the Y values of the joystick, okay? So now here I'm going to go to Xbox One controller and I'm going to say start moving at the left stick Y axis plus the left stick X axis for the left side, and the right side I'm going to do the left stick y-axis minus the left stick x-axis. So this way the left joystick will make the robot drive forward because when I press the left joystick forward, the left joystick y-axis is going to get bigger for both of these. When I pull back on the left joystick, this is going to be a negative number for both of these, so the robot will drive backwards. And then when I move it left, the left joystick x-axis will decrease, so the robot will move, the left side of the robot will move forward or backwards, and when I move it to the right side will move backwards. All right, now, the problem with the way I have this set up is if the joystick is not reading absolute 0, then the robot's going to start trying to move. So let's go ahead and take this out of here, and we're going to come up with a way to create a dead zone. So I'm going to get an if, then else. And I'll go ahead and put this under the else, and I'm going to go up to movement, and I'm going to grab a stop moving. So if something happens, I want the robot to stop moving. If not, I want the robot to start moving based on the position of the joysticks. So here, I'm going to get an AND block. Now what this means is if the joystick is centered, both up and down and left and right, then the robot's not going to move. So here I'm going to get two less thans. I'm going to put one in the front and one in the next one. And I'm going to set this number to 5. Okay. And then I'm going to get an absolute value of. All right, so what the absolute value of object does is it takes a negative number and turns it into a positive number. If the number is a positive number, then it keeps it a positive number. So if the absolute value of the left joystick x-axis, or let's go ahead and do y first. If the absolute value of the left joystick y-axis and the absolute value of the left joystick x-axis are less than 5, then the robot's going to stop moving. If either one of these is greater than 5, right? So if the joystick is off-centered, then it's going to start moving based on where the joystick is. Now, if the robot seems laggy, so like slow to respond, you can make this number smaller, and then the robot will be more responsive. Now, let's say you want to use a button in order to control a specific motor. Let's say you want to use a button to open or close a gripper. So I'm going to go ahead and take the A button, and I'm going to say when the A button is pressed, and I'm going to go up to motors, I want motor C to start moving clockwise. So I'll set this to motor C. Now, the problem is it'll start moving, but then it's just going to keep going forever, right? So I have to go back to Xbox One, and I'm going to go ahead and say when the A button is released, right? So I can change this to released. Then I want that motor C, to stop moving. All right. So here we go. We have it set up so that I can start moving motor C when I press the button, and it stops moving motor C when I release the button. Now, let's say I want the motor to move in the opposite direction. I can go ahead and just duplicate these two commands. And here I'm going to say to turn in the opposite direction, and I will change this button to B. So when button B is pressed, the motor is going to start turning counterclockwise, and when button B is released, then the motor will stop moving. All right, so the stuff up here, let's see, let's go ahead and add a comment here and say this creates a dead zone so the robot does not move when we don't want it to. All right, and this tells the robot how to move based on the left joystick position. All right, so there you have it. Definitely under 10 minutes, how to get your robot controlled using an Xbox One controller. All right, I hope this helps, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Oh, don't forget, what I think you guys should all do is rename your project. So this would be Edoga remote, and then I usually put in the date, so 052323. And then I can click save. All right, so there you go. Save your programs and make sure you close out of them so that the people in whatever other period don't just open your program and mess it up and then your robot doesn't work. All right, you guys have a great rest of your day.